You've often heard me say, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. You've often heard me say, when friends change, change friends. You often heard me say that show me what is influencing your life and I'll show you where your life is going. At some point, brothers and sisters, we all have to realize that influences in our life drastically affect us. Okay, we have to learn to control the influences in our life. Now, in our text today, I want us to go back to Nehemiah chapter 13, verse 26. Wasn't this exactly what led King Solomon of Israel into sin? I demanded. He said, wasn't this exactly this going out and marrying foreign wives and having this woman live in your house that worships demon gods? He said, wasn't this exactly what led King Solomon astray? And he said, there was no king from any nation who could compare to him. For God loved him and made him king over all Israel. But even he was led into sin by his foreign wives. Now look at that. God loved him. God made him king over Israel. God made this man great. But even Solomon, with all of his success, all of his intelligence, all of his wisdom, was led astray by wrong influences in his life. Now you look at Solomon and you go, okay, here's a guy that David set everything up for him. The temple plans were done. The finances were done to build the temple. The materials were done to build the temple. But Solomon didn't start on the temple for 4 years. Go back and study it out in Kings and Chronicles. He didn't start on that temple for 4 years. What was he doing in the meantime? Well, the first thing he goes and does is marry the daughter of Pharaoh from Egypt. The first thing he does is violate the law of the king. Deuteronomy said that the king was not to marry foreign wives. The king was not to have horses and chariots. But instead, his first act was to sit down and handwrite his own copy of the law. So for 4 years, all he does is violate it. He starts down the wrong path. Now, he had a strong will. He compartmentalized things in his life. But, his first act was to violate the laws of the king. Instead of not buying horses and chariots, he became an arms dealer. He became a man who sold weapons of war. He had this contact in Egypt. He used it to enrich himself. So you look at this stuff with Solomon, you go, okay, from his first steps, he began to go astray. But, again, he kept things up and down, and you read the book of Ecclesiastes, and he really had kind of a roller coaster spiritual life. But in the end, he was completely led astray by allowing wrong influences in his life. Now, my friend, sooner or later, bad friends are going to wear you down. Sooner or later, bad friendships and companionship is going to wear down your strength of will. And sooner or later, when that will gets worn down, you're going to disobey God. It is better to have influences for good in your life. Influences that will point you to God. Influences that will point you to worship in the house of God. Not influences that want to tear everybody apart. My friends, please, be more loyal to God than you are to the friends of this earth. In Jesus' name.